Hello, I'm Donna Lavoie, CEO of Lavoie Health Science, a leading independent health and science strategic communications firm serving clients around the world. The Biotechnology Innovation Organization has asked me to share my thoughts about the essentials of great public speaking. Public speaking is a skill that every business executive must learn, and it doesn't always come naturally. It reminds me a little bit of learning the golf swing. You have to remember many things, like keeping your head down, swinging through the ball, and finding your tempo. Once you have that down, you need to focus on your short game. In public speaking, just as in golf, the most successful people make the time to prepare and practice. Let's run through a few things you should keep in mind as you prepare to present. While it seems obvious, it's important to dress professionally. And when in doubt, choose your most conservative option. Make any last-minute adjustments to your clothing and grooming and the restroom beforehand. Keep in mind that the audience will be watching you long before you begin speaking. So walk with confidence and remember to keep an open, friendly expression. After you reach the stage, stand comfortably, usually with your feet shoulder width apart. Let your arms fall comfortably at your side. Be mindful of nervous habits, such as putting your hands in the pockets, playing with jewelry, or hems of your clothing. Before you begin speaking, stand still for a moment. This conveys stability and control. And when you're ready, start with a smile and find opportunities to smile throughout your presentation. You'll also want to maximize the impact of your words through your body language. For instance, you can nod your head for emphasis. Eye contact is one of the most important ways to engage with your audience. Move your eyes around the room looking for specific people for about 5 seconds each. You'll also want to think about how best to use your voice. Try to make your audience feel like you are speaking with them, not to them or at them. To accomplish this, speak a little more slowly and enunciate more than you used to. Varying your pace and volume also helps the audience to keep interested. Consider emphasizing a few words in each sentence. The most common way to add emphasis is by raising your voice, but you may also want to lower your voice or pause. Finally, work hard to eliminate verbal fillers such as like, and so. When you're speaking, you want to project a high level of energy without being excessive. Use gestures as you normally would, but make them smaller or larger based upon the size of the room. You'll also want to avoid gestures such as pointing to your audience or making a fist, and these can be perceived as threatening. Other things to keep in mind are not to lean on the podium or turn your back to the audience when looking at the presentation of the screen. When possible, move out from behind the podium. If you find yourself tensing up, try changing the position of your body when making a transition in your presentation. It seems simple, but it can really help. It's completely normal to be nervous when giving a presentation, but remember, you are the expert on your company and your authenticity as a leader matters. So let your personality shine through. People invest in people. If you're still feeling anxious about your presentation, you'll want to spend time preparing and practicing beforehand. Here are a few suggestions to make the most of your advanced work. Consider writing a full script. This allows you to establish in advance what you want to say rather than leaving it to chance during your presentation. The script should be parallel to your slides and expand on them. Be careful that you aren't simply reading your slides. After you've decided on the content of your script, be sure to adapt it to your speaking style. If you're comfortable and know the subject well, consider referencing short, bulleted talking points instead of reading a full script. If you're less comfortable, try a newsreader approach. Read the full script, but look up 80% of the time. Practice sessions can be tough to schedule, but they really are beneficial. Gather as many colleagues as you can to encourage candid comment. Whenever possible, ask communications professionals with experience in the life science sector to critique your deck and ensure that it meets the needs of your audience. One of the best rehearsal techniques is to film the presentation because the camera doesn't lie. If you can, hold your last rehearsal at the venue of the presentation itself. This really helps to get everyone comfortable with the setting and the venue. Once you're comfortable with your deck, be sure to spend time on the Q&A. Include the tough questions that you may not want to answer to ensure that your response and your body language are conveying what you want them to. At this point, let's assume you've practiced and you're feeling prepared. Before we finish today, I'd like to share a few final tips for the delivery of your presentation. Begin by thanking your host and acknowledging the occasion. The first minute is your best chance to win them over. Never take your audience for granted. Anticipate what they want from you and promise them up front that they will get it. Engage the audience by asking real questions and answering them. Find ways to include interesting details. And at the end, thank them for their time and offer to take questions if the format allows. Take a moment now and re-energize yourself for the Q&A. Smile to show that you're open and you're ready to answer those questions. Listen intently to the questions and jot them down if you're able. Repeat the question as a sign of respect for the questioner and be sure that you and your audience understand it. Never lose control. If you can't or don't want to answer a question, consider sharing your rationale and bridge to another topic. It's the best way to avoid responses such as, "I'm not at liberty to answer," or "no comment." Say what you want to say and then just simply stop talking. Practice answering questions in about a minute. With that, I want to thank you for your time today in listening to our recommendations for essentials of great public speaking. I hope that you'll try these practical suggestions for your next presentation, and I'm sure you'll see an improvement and enjoy sharing your company's story even more.